Welcome to Tech Tip Friday, the Halloween edition. It's scary here. I'm Kurt Staley, that plastics guy, and I'm bringing you a tech tip that you can take with you to the shop floor today. So what's scarier than Halloween and an upset tummy from too many pieces of chocolate and other candy? Well, I think the scariest thing is rejected parts, bad parts, molding issues. So what can you do to protect yourself from these types of things? So here's my list in no particular order, but we'll start with the basics. 1. Purge your machine out. If you're in the midst of color changes and or a different, changing from a different resin, one type to another, make sure the machine is purged out thoroughly so you are not chasing the old material you're running or the old color into the new lot of production parts that you're trying to run. Make sure the machine is set up properly. Secondly, if you are seeing splay, do you have wet material? If your material is hydroscopic, so ABS, nylon, polycarbonate, other engineered resins, or it's a super hot and humid day, you may have surface moisture on polyolefins, despite polyolefins not being hydroscopic. So is your material dry? That's the next thing. Finally, just again in no particular order, are your machine parameters set up correctly? Are you still running the parameters from the previous job and they weren't shifted over to the new job that you're running, assuming you had a mold change? And when you have a mold change, there's a lot of things going on and sometimes details are forgotten. Now, sort of following up with that, the last time you ran this particular tool, mold, whatever the case, did you make some process changes and were they properly recorded in your master setup sheet? And now you're running it and it's like, hey, this thing isn't doing what it did last time. Did you capture the changes? So that's another easy thing to check. Make sure you're on the right process parameters for the tool that you're running, incorporating all the latest changes that your team made in order to compensate for whatever issues you found the last time around. And lastly, the bonus thing is the tool itself in good shape. Have you done the planned maintenance? Are the ejector plates running well? Are things lubricated back there so you don't have sticking and binding of ejector pins? That's super important, especially on tools, where you're shooting maybe 40, 50, 60,000 cycles of parts in between, for an order. That's a lot of action, metal on metal, and you have to have everything properly set up to ensure you've got a healthy tool. Oh, and bonus, not just lubricating things like the ejector plate, how about the gloss and the texture on the tool? Are you finding that the gloss of your parts over time is increasing? Well, very simple. Every time you inject resin into a tool, that's like a draw polish on the texture. And that texture that was once matte, or whatever your spec is going to raise, or it's going to get shinier over time. It's a slow change, but it does happen. So periodic tool maintenance should include some type of media blasting to return the tool to the desired gloss that you signed off on at PPAP or whatever your process is to approve parts with your customer. So there are some not so scary tips for the Halloween edition of Tech Tip Friday, and I hope those are things, even if they're just reminders, that you can take to the shop floor with you every day. Have a very happy and safe Halloween. Don't eat too much candy, and we'll be back talking to you next week about things that maybe aren't so scary. Take care and thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.